Hey David, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Andrew. How are you?
Good, good. Now, you're former amateur boxer and you're coach at Astley VIP with myself, and you've got your own business, haven't you? What's that about?
Become a champion is the business that I have. I started about 3.5, 4 years ago, and basically I wanted to take boxing back into schools. So I started approaching different schools. With a background, I've got a degree in PE, so my background's in PE. I've done a little bit of work in youth work and teaching assistant and a bit of supply teaching, obviously my level 2 and my experience in amateur boxing coaching. So I went to schools and just said, I'm offering a few different provisions and they like it. It's good. So I'm in 9 different schools across Greater Manchester now, delivering boxing, non-contact boxing schools, and it's great. It's going really well.
And if you're trying to sell your business and sell boxing to people, what do you do? What do you think it gives young people?
It's sometimes it's a tough sell because there's stigma attached to boxing. For those that don't really understand it, or to the untrained eye, it might seem like fighting, but obviously to you and I, it's anything but. There's a discipline that comes with it. There's the respect that comes with it. There's the hard work. Those that take it seriously have to, be disciplined with the food, with the lifestyle, with the way they exercise. Those that want to just enjoy it, it gets you fit. It teaches you how to control any anger or keep control of your emotions and practice and display skills in a way that you don't often do in a team sport. You got to be so controlled and mindful of how you're actually putting your skills into action when you're boxing. So it gives people all those different unique skill sets that they're useful in other walks of life. So I think it helps them. Even if they don't become a boxer, I think it just helps them in life. Respect, discipline, fitness, them sorts of things.
And going to yourself now, you had a good amateur career. How old was you when you started, and why did you start boxing in the first place?
Started boxing at 9-year-old. So that is the earliest you can go into a boxing gym. The reason I started, I tried a few different sports, and believe it or not, now having a degree in PE, you'd think I was quite good at all the sports when I was younger, but I think I lacked a bit of confidence and I never really stuck at anything. So my dad took me down to a gym that I just opened. One of his friends, Chris Braid, and a few other lads had opened a gym in Leigh, and he took me down there. And to be honest, I didn't stick at that for the first, year or so. And then I just decided I liked it and I wanted to do it. And then from there, it took off and I started doing well and I was getting fitter, I was losing weight, and I really enjoyed it from there. So it was a sheer chance that somebody that my dad knew opened a gym, and I went down there, and eventually I enjoyed it enough to stick at it.
Was there any boxer in that club, David, that you looked up to, that sort of encouraged you at that time?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very young gym, and everyone there kind of had a little bit of experience, or they hadn't had much experience. It was a very novice gym, but there was one person that stood out, Tony Parr, and it was a good boxer. I enjoyed watching boxing. He was a tough lad, but it's more about his character. He went about things in the right way. He trained hard. He applied himself. It was something that you'd look up to, because you get a lot of people in boxing gyms that they come and they go, and because they don't develop the right character when they're in there, it doesn't work for them. But Tony was somebody I looked up to for his skill set as a boxer, but also because of how he handles himself as a person. I think that's as much what makes a good boxer as the skill set, the character that they have.
Yeah, he's a great lad, Tony, and he was a great coach as well, wasn't he? And going on from that, do you remember your first bout, where it was?
Yeah, it's funny actually. I've talked about this a lot. It was at the Tetley Walkers Club, I think it was called, in Warrington. And I think the lad's name was Grant Ratton, I think, but I can't remember. But the funny thing is that in them days you could smoke. And I remember the MC saying, he actually told people, will you please stop smoking now, because the people that are paid to come in at the back, they can't see the boxing. So I was a 11-year-old fighting in a room full of smoke, and yeah, them days are long gone now, and for all for the better. But yeah, I remember it well, and I won it. And my cousin boxed on the same show, actually. Rob Borden, he boxed on the same show, so it was a nice night. Some of the family came down, some of my dad's friends came down, and yeah, it was a nice way to start my boxing career.
And you had a good career, didn't you? I mean, I can't remember how many bouts you finished up with in the end, but what was your style?
I think I only really grew into my style when I moved to Astley VIP. Damien Jones taught me ring craft that I'd never really learned before. He taught me how to apply the natural skills that I had in a much more calculated way. But I think I was definitely a technical defensive boxer. I wasn't the sort of person that wanted to have a tear up in the middle of the ring. And I'm glad now at 28 years old, I've still got, my ears are still in shape and my nose isn't spread across my face. That's a good thing. But no, I was very much a back foot boxer, fast hands, nice and sharp. But I didn't want to tear up. I quite like the idea of, making people miss and, trying to make people chase me a little bit. And, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't quite work. But that was certainly the way I like to fight. It was all about hit and don't get hit, as opposed to, have a tear up.
And you fought some very good lads, didn't you? You fought Anthony Fowler, Scott Fitzgerald, and Jimmy Kelly.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't think I really got caught up in the hype. I didn't even realise I boxed Scott Fitzgerald. When I boxed him, I didn't even realise who he was, and he went on to win. I think it was a Commonwealth Gold. I think Commonwealth Gold. Anthony Fowler, I knew who he was, but again, he beat me, but I didn't feel uncomfortable in that fight at all. And I believe in that season he went on to knock everybody else out in the championships and went on to become national champion. And yeah, I put up quite a good show against him. Jimmy Kelly was probably the toughest. He doesn't look like a tough, hard lad. He's a very respectful, nice, gentleman type person, but he can punch. And he caught me with an uppercut, and I didn't even realise he caught it with me. He caught me with it, and yeah, but again, I got through them, and unfortunately, when I look back, I didn't win them fights. But when I look at the scorecards, I think I lost them all by 2 points. So, from an amateur boxing point of view, you're splitting hairs there. 2 points is, it can be easily turned around if luck was on my side maybe that day, or I just switched on a little bit better in 1 or 2 of the rounds. So I'm certainly not disappointed by how I performed against them, and it was a great experience.
Can you remember about where you thought it all came together, that you really enjoyed it? Is there one that stands out?
There's 2 actually. There was the very first one I had for Astley VIP, and I remember I actually had a broken knuckle at the time, and it was a bit naughty the way we bandaged it. I bridged it so you couldn't. There was no impact going on that knuckle, and I boxed a southpaw from Redcar, and it was the first time really that I'd ever been taught ring craft when I went to Astley. Prior to that, in my old gym, it was all about being the fittest, being the hardest, getting the first punch in, which is valuable, but there's a lot more to boxing than that. And Damien was telling me how I needed to slip past his jab and come back with backhand left hook, and it just worked every single time. Now, to be honest, I probably should have known that by that stage of my career, but I didn't. And he was telling me things like that, and it was like magical. It just worked. And I think every single time I did it, I just landed 2 shots. It was brilliant. It was like it just came together. So that was the first one, and then we had our very first show for Astley VIP, and it was at Lee Miners. And very last minute, I was 18, and at the very last minute, my opponent dropped out, and somebody else came in. I think it was from Ellesmere Port, a gym up there. And the night before, he actually phoned up. His coach phoned up Damien and said, "We can't let this lad fight Dave Morris." He said he's 10 years old. I think he was 28. He'd stopped a couple of lads prior to fighting me. It's not going to be fair. And Damo went, to be honest, he's top of the bill. He's got to fight. And I got fighting that night. I gave him 2 standing 8 counts. I don't think I got hit once, and it came together. I don't know what happened, but it came together, and it was a proud night for me. That I really enjoyed that one.
One thing I noticed when I started watching you was top of the bill, even like at 15, and there was a lot. You had a lot of fans, and there was a lot of crowd pressure because they made a lot of noise, great support, but with that comes pressure. How did you handle that, David?
I think, mate, when I boxed at my old gym at Lee ABC, we used to have our shows at Lowton Civic Hall. They were very good shows. Credit to who organised them. They were great shows. And I think the age that I was, and the fact my cousin boxed at the same gym, we all had the same friendship group, the same family. We just packed the place out, and it was brilliant. There was a little bit of nerves before a fight, but as soon as you got in there, you pick your song, you'd walk into the ring, and everyone would be chanting your name. And I think they were the nights, you know, I never went on to box for England or anything like that, and I boxed some good people. But if I was to pick out the standout nights, it was your home show when you have your home crowd there, and they'd all be shouting for you, and it was just, that's what I did it for. That's what I enjoyed the most. So yeah, although there's a bit of pressure, when I look back, they were the most enjoyable nights.
You never turned pro. Did it ever go through your mind?
I think it goes through every boxer's mind. You know, you train from being 9 years old up to, I was 18, 19 when I stopped. I had 35 fights, and pretty much all that time I was training 3, 4, 5 times a week, you know, with a couple of months off in summer. So it always goes through your mind. But I think I learned very quickly. I went watching a couple of fights, watching Martin Murray fight a couple of times with Stu McCulloch. And they're a different breed. You don't get away with just being a technically good boxer. I mean, you've seen some lads that have done well in the amateur and the turnover, and you get found out sometimes. And I think, if I'm being completely honest, the one thing I lacked was that hardness. I wasn't brought up in a hard family. It was a very nice, nurturing kind of environment I had. I was fortunate that way. And I'm glad that I didn't really need that mean streak in my life, but I never had it. And I think for a lot of people, that's the one thing you do need if you're going to turn pro. You need to really have that mean streak. And for me, like I said, with my style, it was always about making people miss, and, you know, the showboating technical side of it as opposed to the fight side of it. So it crossed my mind, but it very quickly went out of my mind as well. Once I watched a few kind of novice pro fights, yeah, quickly realised maybe coaching was maybe the way I wanted to go in the future.
You've turned to coaching now, and you do the beginners, don't you, at Astley VIP? You've got a young family. It's very hard to commit. I know myself when you go to family. But you know, I'm a big fan of your coaching style. You're very enthusiastic, and you're very good at energising a room. You clearly take to coaching really well.
Yeah, I mean, the beginner's session at Astley, I love it. It kind of brings back memories from that when I was there, and I had a coach called Paul Crook that took me under his wing, and it was very much about putting lads at ease and finding what they needed and making it work for them, and just making, because the boxing gym can be quite intimidating, but it needn't be. You know, we want to bring young people in that have never boxed before. We want to make them feel comfortable, and if you have a coach in your gym that can do that and that can nurture young talent and make them feel comfortable and teach them skills and get them working together and develop that character that they need to go on to that next level, then you're probably going to have a successful gym. And that's what I think I do at Astley. I bring, you know, the young people come in, the beginners come in. I try and give them skills, the basic skills, the confidence. And then when they get to a good level, and quite recently we've seen quite a few move up, then they'll move up into the boxers group, and Damien Jones will take them on, and he'll really teach them the ring craft and how to, you know, apply it into a competition situation. And it works well at Astley. You know, we've got a real good, you know, thriving gym. I think we complement each other a little bit like that, especially with the other coaches as well, Lewis Broad and Tangy, and, you know, one or two of us that come down.
Yeah, I agree. And just a couple of quick ones. Who's your favourite boxer? Who you like watching? And what hobbies have you got outside of boxing?
My favourite boxer of all time was going to be Sugar Ray Leonard. He was just a master of hit and not get hit. And I like the fact that, I don't know if you know much about his history, but I like the fact that he didn't actually like boxing, he didn't want to do boxing, but he felt he was obligated to because he was brought up in a poor family. And the fact that he's just got the skill set and the class, and even when you see him now talk and handle himself, he's such a quality person. So yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to meet him as well. So he's my favourite boxer of all time. Right now, I'm really enjoying seeing Tyson Fury. I'll be honest, I wrote him off a long time ago. He's the only person I've ever seen hit himself in the ring. But then when he boxed Klitschko, I just thought, hold on. And, you know, he started now putting a few good performances in, and I really do think he's the best heavyweight in the world right now. And it's exciting. He's a Manchester lad, and it's, you know, it'll be really exciting to see if he can keep that up now. Hopefully, he gets a fight against Joshua soon, and we can, you know, we can see what happens there.
Mentally, it seems odd to say with the problems he's had, but mentally he seems the strongest one out there, and he finds a way to win, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I mean, all the best boxers, they do what they need to do to win, you know, and I think you can look great all the time, but the best boxers, they always do what they need to do to win, no matter what. And he's one of them. You know, he won't always look like the best boxer when he's on the bags or the pads, or he boxes somebody who's not quite as good. He might drop down to that level, but he seems to always do what he needs to do to win. And I think now we're seeing him come up against some top quality opponent, we're seeing how good he actually is, and it's interesting to watch that now. Yeah, it's exciting.
And what hobbies have you got away from boxing?
Right now, with a young family, not as many as I'd like to have. In lockdown, I've been getting out of my bike a little bit and doing quite a bit of walking. Obviously, I've got my own business, so that keeps me busy, and I really enjoy kind of the ins and outs of running my own business and, you know, planning where it's going to go in the future. I'd say mainly it's just family days out, watching Liverpool, who are hopefully going to lift number 19 soon. But yeah, other than going down to the boxing gym, doing a bit of coaching, running my business and spending time with my family, that's pretty much it for me. And yeah, I enjoy that. It's plenty enough for me.
And how much do you miss it, David? That feeling in a ring, how much do you miss that?
Every now and again, I go down and watch some of the lads sparring, or they're getting ready for a competition, and I do think, you know, maybe one more time. Yeah, it always stays. I remember when I first finished boxing, it was a very strange period. I was living at university, and I felt like as soon as I quit, I felt like I'd lost a little bit of my identity.
I remember you saying this to me. You said it took you a couple of years to suss out who you was. It was such a big part of who you was as a person.
It's strange because you're training 5 times a week and you're fighting and you don't go out drinking with your mates and you're not having the takeaways, you're not doing a lot of the things people your age are doing. You're always known as Dave the Boxer, Dave Morris the Boxer, you know. And as soon as you stop, you can't take part in boxing recreationally. It's not like you're a footballer, you can go and play 5-a-side or 7-a-side. You're no longer that. You lose that title. And I think if you walk around and say I'm a boxer when you're not active, it doesn't wash with people. So it feels like a large chunk of what you were and what everyone knows you for and what you've always been about has just gone. And it's very difficult to find something to replace it with. And I was lucky Damien put me through my coaching badges and I found a positive way to kind of channel that need again. But a lot of people, you know, when you see like some of the pro boxers that have had the highest of highs, Ricky Hatton and Joe Calzaghe, Tyson Fury, they've turned to, you know, negative outlets to try and regain that high. And I understand that even at such a low level, which I was at, you know, relative to them, it is such a high when you're competing and when you're training and all the endorphins that are running through your body all the time, the commitment and the respect you gain, and then you stop and you kind of, you do have to try and work hard at finding your position again. It might sound a little bit strange to other people, but I know a lot of boxers go through that. Probably a lot of other sports people do.
It struck a nerve when you said that to me, because you were one of the most positive young lads I know. And I thought if David's struggling with that, then it clearly is an issue for boxers.
You're probably onto something there that probably could do with being a little bit of support or education out there. But yeah, it does. It's such a demanding sport, and it practically takes away your childhood for those that really give themselves to it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if you enjoy success out of it. And I don't see that as a bad thing, but you do live a different life to a lot of other people at that age. And when you stop, you question what's it about? Why did I do that? Did I miss out? And how do I get them kind of pleasures back again? Like I said, I was lucky I found through the coaching and through my business, and I found the right kind of path again. But yeah, I can imagine it being a real challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah. But one thing, I had it with my son, and I know your parents had it with you. What was that? What did that support mean to you during your boxing time?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, both my mum and my dad really supported me. It's quite funny, to be honest. I think my dad was more of the one that was a little bit nervous and scared, and my mum was more the one that was like, go on. Like, she was the kind of driving force. But it was great. My dad would sell, 4 or 5 tables when we boxed at our home shows. I think my mum missed 2 fights. One she was in Barbados and one I was in the Isle of Man. But out of all the fights, she missed 2 of them. My dad didn't miss many more. He missed maybe 4 or 5 out of 35. And it's not a cheap do to support somebody. It's £10 every time you go in. You take your family with you. Yeah, it was it means everything. You know, you need that. You need your meals preparing for you. You need getting up out of bed in the morning for your running. You need that. Otherwise, you know, it's very hard to keep yourself motivated all the time. So yeah, you know, it was invaluable really having the support of your family. It did mean a lot.
Well, thanks for that, David. And they are special memories that you've shared with your family as well. And it's good to see you carrying on that in the coaching capacity. I know a lot of the young people do look up to you.
Thank you.